Now we're going coast to coast. We're bringing in Warner Bailey. Nobody has a better finger on the pulse of Hollywood than Warner Bailey. He's the founder of Assistants vs. Agents, the go-to source in Hollywood for what's happening in the entertainment industry. Started as a meme page, Gino. What else you got on this?
He doesn't work for Warner Brothers. I think that's a clear distinction that we need to make. His name is Warner, does not work for Warner Brothers. We're talking entertainment here. Just want to clarify that first and foremost. But he is incredible, and he covers the entertainment industry kind of like how we cover the ad industry. And really, those worlds are very similar. A little bit of an outdated model, finding something new in a fragmented audience. But he's going to teach us about where the attention's heading, Jack.
Yeah, he got some great takes about Hollywood, the state of the industry. He's very optimistic, very similar to us. But he, getting into this notion of branded entertainment just becoming entertainment, and how advertising and entertainment are starting to converge.
They're besties.
They're besties. You say he's not Warner Bros, but Warner's my bro. And I feel like that's an important thing to note. But let's bring him in. Warner Bailey, the founder of Assistants vs. Agents. They've also got a news site. Go check them out, Mailcart. Great conversation. Let's get it going. Bring him in. Warner Bailey, founder of Assistants vs. Agents. He's our Hollywood correspondent, people. Warner, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be on.
Well, you're a legend. I think Assistants vs. Agents, you talk about really being tapped into a niche, the Hollywood entertainment industry, like kind of what's behind the celebrities, and Warner and company have done a great job with that. So I think for this conversation, really interested because of how close brand entertainment and entertainment are coming together. Advertising in Hollywood feel like there's a ton of overlap.
There's a blend. I see Warner coming on the show more often.
Yeah, I could see more Warner in our future, Gino.
That was nice, Jack.
Thank you. So I think that want to start there. Hollywood is such a hot topic, and it gets people have such hot opinions about Hollywood and the state of Hollywood today. Warner, I'm curious, based on the people that you talk to, you speak with plenty of people that work in the industry. What's the sentiment over there on the West Coast about the state of Hollywood?
Yeah, look, you got to split Hollywood into two. There's the legacy Hollywood that everyone looks at, the studios, the streamers, everything on TV. They used to control distribution. They control the talent, all the attention. But this mass flow of creator economy, projects, budgets coming in on the brand side as well has never been greater. And there's just a narrative in the trades that Hollywood's dying, that it's dead, it's shrinking. And sure, if you look at that legacy model, that's true, but there has never been more opportunity in the industry to work in it, definitely to create content in it and monetize things you're doing. Look at what you're all doing right now. And we'll go into some of the other people I admire in the space that I think are paving the way for a new class of creators. But I'm sick of the trades, telling the next generation that our industry's dead. And I'm just seeing more opportunity than ever.
So I guess like that old school, the legacy approach there, what are some of those, I guess what's been some of the issues that there's more opportunity flooding now? What with the legacy Hollywood, what's been flawed with it recently?
Yeah, you look at post-COVID, there's a big reset, there were strikes, there's shrinking budgets. Into projects, mass layoffs have been, seen now. But there's also shrinking at the top. We'll see what happens with Warner Bros. I have an opinion on it. That we'll see how it shakes out. I write a lot about it. But there's a shrinking group of people who control power and, again, distribution. But the flip side of that is now the platforms control the distribution. The creators are controlling, all of the attention. I was just reading, I think 56% of Gen Z prefers, social content versus traditional TV film. So there's an attention issue, certainly. And also the ad budgets are shrinking. I think ad budgets for TV dropped from like 15 point something down to 14 and look to be shrinking down to 13 for TV ads. That's your world. You probably know the facts better than I do. But and then brand dollars, right? Like where brands are going to follow where the eyeballs are going. So instead of funding or putting their money into traditional projects, it's flowing right to the creator economy and on digital. So with all those shifts, and then you have, cost rising is another big thing. We won't talk about AI, maybe we will, but that's a big central issue right now to why we're seeing, again, the shrinking of Hollywood from a traditional lens.
Yeah,
It's very similar to the ad industry.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like the traditional big agency model, some of the similar challenges, and now we're seeing some new boutique shops.
I know it's so interesting because everything follows just where the attention is.
Yeah.
So it's the same exact situation. Let's get in. I want to ask your thoughts because I feel like I'm undereducated on the whole Warner Brothers, Netflix, Paramount dilemma.
It's awesome.
I think besides the whole Succession-esque vibe to it all, Warner, what are you looking out for based on, however it shakes out, what's your eye on the situation of the Warner Brothers deal? And can you just break it down for like an idiot like me who doesn't really understand what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm an idiot as well. I'm still learning. But the one thing that Hollywood's really focused on is how it'll affect distribution. If you look at Warner Bros., there's a tradition of amazing films and movies. You look at Sinners and others more recently that have done incredible because of the cultural way that they've shifted the audience's lens towards the film or the experience because they're in theaters. And you can name a lot of those films that Warner Bros. has produced or created. And if Netflix goes and does buy Warner Bros., and the CEO just went on Matt Bellamy, the Town, big fan of his podcast, and said that they are going to continue to distribute films in theaters. But I think the smart person will say that doesn't help Netflix in viewership numbers to continue to rise. So I think a lot of those films will go straight to Netflix distribution, although CEO of Netflix said that's not going to be the case. We'll see how that shakes out. I think that's probably the biggest effect you'll see is AMC just released their figures that they had a decline in Q1, which actually was a little surprising to me. But you'll continue to see more films go direct to streaming if that is the case over time, certainly.
Yeah, so you just always, I mean, that kind of fucking sucks, right? Like I love going to the theater. I love that experience, and then it's just tough. Like, I love Netflix for a lot of reasons, but at the same time, it just doesn't feel the same when I watch something for the first time, like a new release comes and it goes straight to Netflix.
I thought I saw that Paramount increased their offer recently within the past couple of days of recording this on February.
We have a rotating meme of the Warner Bros. Water tower where it's like Paramount logo up there. Paramount Sundance will have a Netflix logo on top of the Paramount. But who knows what will happen? It's hard to track, and whenever this comes out, something else will have happened by then. But I think they gave them a little, we call it a 7-day hall pass that's probably expired now to counter make a final decision and offer. But we'll see. I think top of March is when we'll get a clear answer on how that shakes out. But look,
What's the big difference? What is the difference? Like if Paramount wins the offer versus Netflix, what can we expect from that?
It's gonna be the distribution angle, and that's like the core of what Hollywood's pushing back on now. The theater business, how fans are gonna receive and view content. He said they're gonna keep them separate if it does go to Netflix. I think Netflix buying them is certainly a bigger threat to the traditional legacy model. I think it's going to end up happening anyways, the continued consolidation and theater business slowing and more projects going straight to streaming. And then, we'll talk about how social fits into all that, which I'm extremely bullish on. Obviously we're here and, we're doing similar things in our industries. But yeah, it's a bigger threat, from a traditional lens if Netflix does purchase Warner Bros. But, you have Paramount with seemingly endless money. And that's a threat also, certainly, because of, won't get into it, but family ties. They own the distribution on TikTok. Is there then, an incentive to, or at least his family does, to then look at a different model as well there. So either one's a threat. Either one, I think, is unfortunate, but it's the reality of our industry right now.
Yeah. I remember seeing this, you talk about the effects of like Netflix having pretty much ownership all over all of like Hollywood and what traditional movies were. The like Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, The Rip, which was a Netflix streaming movie, and that article about how I think it was Matt Damon being like, yeah, when we were making it, like some of the Netflix execs or the representatives from there were like, hey, do you mind, re-explaining the plot pretty much several times throughout the movie to account for
Yeah.
the fact that the people that watch Netflix don't really pay attention. They're like on their phones half the time. So you need to like
Yes.
re-explain. It's like watching a children's show, which I do appreciate,
And
honestly.
and they have to have like the fight scene within like the first, or the big action scene within like the first 10 minutes just to capture attention.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
pulling
it's-
my phone out 30 seconds in and not paying attention. My attention span's that of a goldfish with a shorter attention span than normal. But again, like going back to that 56% of Gen Z saying social content is more relevant to them in their life than TV film. I was listening to a Colin Samir podcast, who I love, creator economy guys. They're doing amazing stuff in their world. 95 million posts are uploaded to Instagram a day, 23 million TikToks. I think it was 20 million YouTube videos. So you're seeing an abundance of content regardless of where you're sitting. And now I think would love to chat on your opinion too about the power of where niches sit and where attention is commanded. And you're pulling a roulette wheel every time you're on social. And that's a whole separate conversation. But in terms of what you're fed and the content you're seeing now. So regardless of really what's happening on the traditional Hollywood model, distribution, consolidation, there's a massive shift towards social and an abundance of content that is probably a bigger issue, given that half of the internet now is created by AI. And they just read that 20 to 30% of every YouTube video is also created purely by AI. So regardless of what shakes out in traditional Hollywood, that I'm seeing as a much bigger issue is the content explosion and abundance problem right now.
Yeah, I do think that I do feel still optimistic about Hollywood's ability to adapt because, like, you see in A24, I think that there's still opportunity for like traditional, I guess, but like a film company to be able to have success on social, to use it as a distribution platform, to get people to watch the movie. I still feel like you could do that in like, there's no better place or no better resources in the world than in Hollywood to make that still feasible. So that's what I just think that the tactics just have to change, right, Warner? Like it's becoming more social, and to your point, and we see it all like with our content, owning or trying to own a niche, being very specific, tapping into subcultures. The best place to do that is on social, and A24 with their build-ups, the Marty Supreme stuff, like they're really attaching themselves to those sub niches.
I've never been more bullish on this industry in general. I think there's a massive shift, but there's so much opportunity. Theaters in although they're seeing decline, like the top end movies are doing extremely well. I went to Marty Supreme; it was absolutely packed. Weeks after that it was released in film. But to your point about niche, that is where I'm putting all my emphasis and focus on. What you guys are doing in the marketing ad world, you Feed Me, Emily Sundberg, like TBPN and the tech world, who are just doing incredible things in their world on the live stream aspect. I mentioned Colin Samir for the creator economy, but then you take that to studios like A24 and Neon's in that world as well, where like A24 can put out anything and their super fans will go and watch it and buy their merch and subscribe to their membership program. So, and like, how often do you see someone wearing like a Disney or Hulu logo on their shirt versus like I would rock an A24 logo on my shirt? So like there are these new era of call it studio brands that people have deep allegiance to. And will continue to create, incredible content. I think also the original film, boom in the last couple months has been exciting to see, and Marty Supreme was one of them.
Yeah, the even in like this new age, just thinking about even your audience, I do feel like things have changed a little bit, but the world of like talent representation feels like it's never been stronger with the rise of like how many people can be a creator. Like you've just seen an explosion of content creators and like influencers that are in need of representation. So it feels like, I don't know, is that correct? That although it's not movie stars anymore and it's not Devil Wears Prada-esque situations, it's like I think the world of representation is super strong right now.
Yeah, there's more management companies and agencies than ever. The entertainment industry is more fractured and fragmented than it's ever been, which gives more opportunity to more people. Because I worked at WME. That was my pathway into entertainment. It took me 6 months to get an interview. Never been to LA. Got the job on a Thursday, moved out on a Sunday. And like that was really the only path in. And that was only 8 years ago, right? Like I was in DC from Philly, like not big hubs of entertainment. Now you can have, if you have a laptop or access to internet, you can create a real business around a community, grow a niche, start a podcast, write on Substack or Beehive, grow a newsletter. I think it's there's never been a more exciting time to be in entertainment. You just have to stretch what the definition of entertainment is in your eyes. And I think that's hard for a lot of people who have been in this business for a while. But for this upcoming generation, you all are doing exactly what I just had mentioned: carve a niche out, create content that's educational, that's giving people resources, and there's endless opportunity for where you all, and hopefully us and many others that fit that narrative, can take it.
Love it. If we have time for a bonus
Yeah,
question.
bonus question.
Yeah, bonus
Stick
question.
around. This bonus question
this
is
is
brought to you by Assistants vs. Agents,
Yes.
your number one source for Hollywood entertainment news. Gino, over to you.
Warner, final question for you today. What does Hollywood look like in 5 years from now? Check your crystal ball for us and let us know.
Look, if I had the answer, I wouldn't be sitting here in my office. I'd be sitting on a big house up on the hill. But I am extremely optimistic about where this industry is headed because of the young talent that's coming through and sitting in leadership positions now. I think it will be in a year or two indistinguishable between what is AI and what is not. And so I think those that are investing deeply in community, again, going back to niches, are going to win. And I think, content will continue to remain king, and there will be an endless crop of content, but those that develop a community and trust right now are going to be the ones that win in 5 years. But who knows, man? Who knows what will happen in 5 days from now? We're moving quick over here in Hollywood, but I'm excited to be involved in this business and see this next generation coming up to lead.
Bonus question.
Do it.
Yeah, hit me with another one. Who's this one presented by? This one's presented by Breaking and Entering.
That's right. This one's presented by me, coming to you live. Warner, have you ever seen the movie Swingers?
I haven't. Should I?
Fuck. Okay, then I revoke that. In the movie Swingers, look it up. It's very Hollywood, very LA.
I'm gonna look up Swingers on Google right now. I'll probably get canceled.
Got the Vince Vaughn in it?
Yeah, it's young Vince Vaughn, Jon Favreau. It is like following these young actors in Hollywood trying to make it. Early 90s, great film. But they go to all these parties in the hills, and there's like these house parties, and it's just like a who's who crew. I was just going to ask if that is real, and if it is real, can I come to these cool Hollywood parties?
Well, let's take, Entourage as an example. That's what I grew up on. We actually we screened Entourage, the movie with Rex Lee. Shout out Lloyd, icon. I think there's definitely that. I've aged out of that, of those times. But early in the career, look, it's an exciting place to be in LA. I don't know what 95% of people do here for work. I don't think they work at all, but that stuff goes on. I'm not getting invited. I'm not cool enough to be invited to those parties. But when I do, you both will be the first invite.
That is what is up. This is what I'm finding is that we wrap up all these interviews with cool people where we just like put people on the spot live and be like, so we're good to go, right? And like you have no choice.
Yeah, you're on the list. Wait, you're on the list. That is checked. Both you're on the list. Good night.
You just got to ask. It's a great lesson. Well, Warner Bailey, you are the man. Thank you so much for joining us. Go check out Warner Bailey. Assistants vs. Agents also just launched a little bit of news, Hollywood news. Mail Cart, it's called, correct?
Mail Cart, our new resource-driven platform. We have a live show coming. We got a lot of stuff, scripted series potentially in the works. Who knows? We'll stay tuned. But thank you guys for having me on, man. You guys are doing amazing stuff. Huge fans of you all from afar. And let's do this again. I like the opposite coast. I want to hear some news. What's going on in your world?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Thank you, Warner.
Thank you.